What I am upset about is like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
Today, I'm delving into the details of Caitlin Clark's new contract in Europe, and I'm challenging myself to keep up with how insane this deal really is. Caitlin Clark, the General American Baseball, has been making waves in the sports world with her national prowess and supporting player. Recently, she made the bold decision to take her talents to Europe, leaving many wondering what kind of contract would land her across the pond. So, let's talk about the first thing first. Perhaps the biggest story in this WNBA postseason began when Connecticut Sun guard Dejohnny Carrington taunted Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark during the Fever's Game 1 loss to the Sun last month. Not only was the stat, which both Clark and Carrington claimed was undocumented, the subject of much debate and controversy, but the whole critique reached a whole new level of absurdity when USA Update reporter Christine Brennan spoke to Carrington about this plant decision on September 24th. ESPN is now aggressively pushing Caitlin Clark's new contract in Europe, acting like they have no control over their decisions. It doesn't. The Clarks have packed their bags and aren't looking back, no matter how much crying, begging, or packing their feet.
Why?
Because the Clarks have some serious self-respect and common sense. ESPN has just revealed the details of Caitlin Clark's contract, and many are going to be shocked. According to the package, Caitlin is set to receive a salary of over $1 million per year, making her one of the highest-paid female baseball players in the world. But that's not all. Her contract also includes several lucrative endorsement deals and bonuses, which could see her earning over $2 million per year. In addition, Caitlin's contract includes several restaurants that have different locations for her affiliates. She will have her personal logo on her team jerseys, and she will have a key role in the team's marketing and branding example. It's clear that Caitlin has established herself as a global superstar, and her contract is a testament to that. The impact of Caitlin Clark's contract on her career and the women's baseball scene in Europe cannot be overstated. This deal is a game changer, and it sets a new standard for top female players looking to step up in Europe. Caitlin has proven she's a smart person who is hired at her own expense, and she's not afraid to back down. Because unlike the beautiful people the WNBA drafts, Clark has actually put herself in a position of importance. She's not going to beg and grovel for a league that can't even defend its biggest star. Why should she stay? She's struggling with physical defense, she's coping with professional standards, and the league's handling of the pandemic has taken a toll on her, as recently telereported, saying, "I feel like I'm going to get beaten up." The challenge of playing in Europe is multifaceted. Not only does Caitlin have to adjust to a new style of play, but she also has to cope with the physical and mental demands of competing at the highest level on foreign soil. With her high profile comes high expectations, and fans and critics alike will be watching her every move. Her new team will be dependent on her to make an immediate impact, and the pressure to perform will be immense. Caitlin Clark has taken the WNBA by storm, and honestly, it's almost funny how ESPN is suddenly pretending to care even though she's leaving them for Europe. Caitlin has turned the WNBA into a circus, and she's heading overseas, leaving behind a series of broken dreams and shattered egos. After carrying this entire league on her back for an entire season, enduring brutal fouls and getting body checks like she's in a hockey rink instead of a basketball court, she's finally decided enough is enough. And guess what? I don't blame her at all. This girl is on the wrong team. She has the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. Look, this is not a player who is pushing her career. Caitlin Clark's jersey has outlasted everyone in the history of the league, something that few others have been able to do. That's what Caitlin Clark said. Players beat her up, referees ignored her, and haters targeted her who can't stand that she is single-handedly keeping this joke of a league alive. What I'm upset about is that, oh man, your meal ticket is constantly under attack. There have been crappy plays all season. But now that she has decided she is more valuable than the beaten-up cash cow of the WNBA, everyone is losing their minds. Sorry, ESPN. Your golden hen ran away from home, and you are just left with a big, empty nest of missed opportunities. And now they are going to pay the price. This isn't just a loss. This is a disaster. The WNBA had a chance to be great, and they screwed it up big time. Enjoy Europe, Caitlin. You deserve better than this mess. Additionally, there will be an added layer of European media scrutiny, which can be unforgiving at times. Caitlin will need to be able to handle the intense spotlight and maintain her focus on the court. And let's not forget the cultural and language barriers that can make everyday life a struggle, not to mention navigating the complexities of professional sports. With Caitlin Clark leading the league in attendance both home and on the road, the Fever averaged 17,000. What's that impact like? They didn't just have a star, they had a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. But of course, let's focus on spreading the wealth around rather than celebrating the player who single-handedly put the WNBA on the map. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, then capitalize on it. And don't even talk about the merchandise sales. Leaving behind legends like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. We're talking about a rookie, a first-year player, beating Hall of Famers. That's not just impressive, it's historic. She turned the WNBA into must-see TV, and her games practically became a national event. But did ESPN ever treat her like a superstar? When you went to lunge at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? This sparked outrage from the WNBA, who released a statement about Brennan's question on X's to call out the reporter. From there, Sun forward Dawana Bonner had an alleged confrontation with Brennan over her question, which later turned into a whole extra story between Brennan and reporter Sarah Spain about whether Brennan filed a complaint with the WNBA about what happened between her and Bonner. All of this is to say that Carrington's infamous eye-poking incident turned out to be a serious, subtle matter that had many different effects on many different people. However, that didn't stop Carrington and his girlfriend Nalissa Smith, who is Clark's teammate at Indiana, from poking fun at the initial incident during an Instagram Live. Smith's Instagram Live on Wednesday, where he and Carrington were cooking together. Smith accidentally poked Carrington in the eye while turning in the kitchen. "You poked my eye," Carrington said to Smith, smiling. The two then began laughing. "Did you do that on purpose?" Carrington then asked twice, in what seemed to be an obvious mockery of the initial question Brennan asked her 2 weeks ago. Dejonai Carrington jokes about Caitlin Clark eye poke with Fever's Nalissa Smith. Caitlin Clark's decision to play in Europe was undoubtedly influenced by a number of factors. From a financial perspective, European leagues offer competitive salaries and benefits that are hard to resist. The opportunity to compete against the best players in the world, the chance to experience a new culture and lifestyle, was likely a strong draw for Caitlin. On a personal level, she may have been looking to challenge herself and push her limits both on and off the court. The financial aspect of playing in Europe cannot be underestimated. The top leagues often offer salaries that are higher than what players earn in the WNBA. Caitlin may also have been attracted to the endorsements and sponsorships that come with playing in Europe, which can be a lucrative side hustle for top athletes. And let's not forget the opportunity to grow your personal brand and increase your global recognition. From a competitive perspective, European leagues offer a level of competition that is hard to find in the WNBA. The best players from around the world converge in Europe to compete in top leagues, giving Caitlin the opportunity to test her skills against the best players. On a personal level, playing in Europe would have given Caitlin a sense of freedom and autonomy that she wasn't experiencing in the US. In addition, Caitlin would have to adjust to a new system and teammates, which can be a daunting task for even the most experienced players. She would have to quickly adjust to her teammates and learn to communicate effectively, as well as deal with the fatigue of traveling and playing in a new environment. ESPN. You missed the boat, and it's already sailed across the Atlantic. Yeah, she should be on a better team. Let's talk about viewership, okay? That game against the New York Liberty drew 1.5 million viewers. That's more than some NBA games on TNT. And now that she's gone, what's left? A bunch of empty seats, dusty jerseys, and a bunch of people talking at ESPN, trying to figure out how they managed to spoil the easiest win in sports broadcasting history. Caitlin Clark faced nothing short of a nightmare in the WNBA. And now that she has decided to pack up and move to Europe, it is ridiculous to see ESPN and everyone else suddenly rushing for attention. The truth is finally coming out. The same light that is going to dim here in about 12 hours, when Caitlin Clark is eliminated from the playoffs. The physicality Clark faced in the league was more brutal than brutal. Forget about defense. It was like she was getting into a street fight every time she tied her shoes. She was being beaten, pushed, elbowed. Just about every dirty trick in the book. And how did the league react to it all? Remember her last game against the Connecticut Sun? 29 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. She's basically a one-woman show. Meanwhile, her teammates were busy engaging in a comedy of errors, missing open shots and making stupid plays that would make even high school coaches cringe. And what did the WNBA do? They let the referees treat her like a punching bag while they sat back and watched. Fans didn't sign up for a UFC match, but that's exactly what the WNBA becomes when Clark steps onto the court. Caitlin Clark was attacked yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. And now ESPN and their experts are finally waking up. Oh, now they realize they were sitting on a cash cow the whole time? How convenient. Before Caitlin, the Indiana Fever was lucky to draw 3,000 fans to a game that was more like a neighborhood block party than a professional event. But once she appeared, 17,000 fans flocked to the arena every game. That's a 400% increase. Indiana Fever, well, the WNBA recently announced its 2025 draft lottery results, giving fans a preview of where the top players will be selected next April. Arguably the most popular team in the league, the Indiana Fever will select at number 8. Indiana finished the 2024 season with a number 6 seed in the WNBA standings, finishing the year with a 20-20 record. After being eliminated from the WNBA playoffs in the first round, the Fever went into the offseason looking to rebuild its roster. Indiana made its first WNBA playoff appearance since 2016 this season, and also earned its first 20-win season since 2015. The Fever features the 2023 and 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year winners, Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. They have performed well in the draft process over the past few seasons, and given their progress, it seems Indiana is just a few steps away from competing for a WNBA title. During the 2024 offseason, all eyes were on Clark. There was a lot of pressure on her as the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and it's likely she exceeded expectations. Clark averaged 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game during her rookie season. She was named a WNBA All-Star for her performance after solidifying herself as one of the best offensive weapons in the league. The first-year star led the WNBA in average assists and led all rookies in average points. Some of the top players in the draft who have the potential to play along include Paige Bueckers, Az Fudd, Olivia Miles, and Janiah Barker. Caitlin was the heartbeat, the pulse, the lifeline, and they let it slip away. Now they have yet to see how she takes her talent and all the hype she has built to a league that actually appreciates it. So now she's packing her bags for Europe, and suddenly everyone is acting like they just found out she's the real deal. Well, too little, too late. The WNBA could have built an entire franchise around her, made her the face of the league, but they dropped the ball, and now they've lost their brightest star. What I'm upset about is that, hey man, your meal ticket is constantly under attack. There have been dirty plays all season. And for ESPN, they're sitting there trying to spin the narrative and save face when the truth is they messed up. They let a generational talent slip through their fingers, and now they're left with a big, fat nothing. So good luck to Caitlin Clark in Europe. She's going to a place where her talent will actually be valued, a place where she won't be allowed to be wasted every game while the refs look the other way. And for ESPN and the WNBA, maybe this will be a warning to them, because right now, they're the punchline of a joke they didn't even know they were telling. Because this is Caitlin Clark, and she can't play that game. With her move to Europe, there's going to be total chaos at ESPN. They'll have to say goodbye to those great ratings, the surge in merchandise sales, and every buzz that Caitlin brought. She's a golden goose. The league needs to wake up and realize that this kind of mess doesn't just affect Clark. It's making the entire WNBA look like amateurs. And don't even talk about the WNBA's inclusivity story. All season, they promoted themselves as a league of equality and opportunity. But when it came time to protect their biggest asset, they abandoned her. Your biggest star, your meal ticket, your reason for being relevant just got stabbed and attacked, and nothing happened. Now ESPN and the WNBA are going to feel the sting of ignoring the only player who made them a spectacle worth watching. All while Clark was mistreated on the court. She literally said she felt overwhelmed out there. And what did the WNBA do? Ignored it like it was any other Tuesday. The infamous IPOC incident should have been a warning to everyone. But instead, the WNBA turned a blind eye, cynically, acted as if it was normal for a star player to be treated like an intruder in her own league. But if you're not delivering the product and you're not generating revenue and you're not giving people the entertainment they want, you're not going to make any money and your league is going to suck. The emotional burden? You can't even put it into words. Every missed call, every cheap shot, it hurts you. You're putting your heart and soul into moving a team forward, and in return, you're left vulnerable, unprotected. And on top of that, being criticized for not being tough enough. Give me a break. The league and its cheerleading media dropped the ball so hard it's still rolling. And now they want to play a game of catch. Pathetic. And this woman grabbed the basketball and somehow got her fingernails in Kate McClark's eye. No foul call. The refs didn't stop the game. Is that a gross negligence? Nothing like that. Everyone just moved on. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Question: Alyssa Thomas and her comments about racial bias in the fan base. Thomas implied that Clark's popularity is somehow rooted in racial dynamics. Oh, I don't know. Her staggering talent. And what did ESPN do? Those people, they're races when really you're all races. People making excuses to hate Kate McClark and the new fan base she brought in. They peddled this absurd story like it was breaking news. Instead of highlighting her record-breaking games, they showed her success through the prism of race. Imagine a rising star pretending to be nothing, the face of a franchise and the league treating you like a punching bag. It's important that we prove that. One of the things I brought up this morning and talked about Caitlin Clark is that some players, you might want to use the word jealousy. You might want to use the word envy. And let's not even start on the refs. Was there any? Because if you've watched any of her games, it seems like the refs were playing see no evil, hear no evil. Instead, they gave lukewarm coverage, acted like she was just another player, and now they're scrambling. Or 10 like they didn't notice her. It's too late. Seriously, Clark was out there breaking ankles, setting records, and lifting a team on her back. And they want to limit her success to racial conversations? Honestly, that's pretty bullshit. I think in my 11-year career, I've never encountered racist comments from Indiana Fever fans when we confronted them on a serious matter that happened in this world. And honestly, it's unacceptable. And yeah, there's no place for that. And then because they obviously can't read a room, they lean in and try to heat the pot even more. Clark's response? She stuck to her point, insisting on a serious matter. That her success is the result of hard work and patience, not some cheap racial statement. The fact that she had to do that shows how distorted the media coverage has been. She has 14,000 followers. And it's really easy to overlook that, and most people don't know who she is in the sports world. People only know about her because she's Caitlin Clark. And she still only has 14,000 followers on Twitter. She doesn't have much of a brand. They could have pitched her as the next big thing because she is. But instead, they've created a story that does nothing but tarnish her image and bring everyone down. It's really embarrassing. Meanwhile, what does this do to public perception? It's creating a toxic environment that Clark doesn't deserve to be in. She's worked hard, and now she has to deal with these controversies instead of getting her own recognition, which, honestly, needed a miracle to stay relevant. Now they're trying to promote players who can't even touch Clark's one-season performance. Ironically, they finally realized the treasure they had right when she walked out the door. So when Caitlin Clark packs her bags and heads for Europe, ESPN and the WNBA will be looking at a big void that will be hard for them to fill. They could have built an empire around her, but instead, they're scrambling for pieces. You don't find players like Clark every day, and when you do, you treat them like royalty. ESPN missed that opportunity. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments what you think of Caitlin Clark's new contract. Is it a smart move for her? Or is she taking a risk by leaving the WNBA? And if you want to stay updated on all the latest sports news and rumors, be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel.